all of a sudden the Patriots have, an influx of wide receivers, not of quantity, not of quality, okay? Because most of them still suck. There's not a lot separating, the number 2 receiver. Let's put Steph Diggs in his own place. But the number 2 receiver from the number 9 receiver on that list of 9 that are on their depth chart right now. And that's why you start to hear things like, ooh, could Kayshon Boutte be traded? Traded for what? Who is trading for Kayshon Boutte? What are you talking about? And now you're going to start to hear who's not going to make the team. And there are some obvious candidates here. Javon Baker didn't play a snap last year. You have an undrafted free agent who looks good, but he is an undrafted free agent. That's Efton Chisholm III. Who could forget? From Washington State. Kendrick Bourne, veteran guy, didn't play a lot last year, coming off a couple of major injuries. Does he have a spot on this team? The one that's really interesting, though, Tommy Curran, who is longtime beat writer and cover of the Patriots, says it's a coin flip as to whether Ja'lynn Polk will be cut from this team. Now, that's an interesting one. Ja'lynn Polk, obviously a second-round pick in the 24 draft, first pick in the second round, and everyone loved the pick when it happened. He just played in the college football championship game with Washington. He's one of the most productive receivers in the country. No character issues. Leader on the field, leader in the room, all this stuff. And some might have wanted Ladd McConkey, who becomes a Pro Bowler and an all-rookie player, but he's selected after. They actually trade the pick they trade the pick so that Ladd McConkey can get drafted, and then they pick Ja'lynn Polk. There we go. Pick 33 or 34, whatever it was. And it's not as crazy as some people might think that they cut Ja'lynn Polk before week 1 of the NFL season. Because, what are you going to do without Ja'lynn Polk's 12 catches on 33 targets last year? His 87 yards. That's a good game. 87 yards for a rookie. It's a good game. It's a terrible year. That's what Ja'lynn Polk had for the entire year last year, and 1 touchdown, I think. Had 1 taken off the board that probably shouldn't have been, but 1 touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, against Chicago. So it's actually not as crazy as you might think. Because look, Stefon Diggs making the team. Mack Hollins, you signed him to a multi-year deal. He's making the team. Kyle Williams, 3rd-round pick, making the team. Apparently with this conversation, it might not guarantee it for you for next year, but he's making the team. And Pop Douglas is making the team. I don't know if he has much trade value either, although he should be a good player. And so then, you're talking about, having 5 or 6 receivers on the team. That leaves spots for Baker, Efton Chisholm, Kayshon Boutte, who was your leading receiver last year. And then notice I'm not sharpieing him in to make the team, and Ja'lynn Polk. Again, let's play this out. Boutte is your leading receiver from last year. Drake May developed a chemistry with him. That's a guy who's probably making your team. Okay? Kendrick Bourne, if nothing else, is a veteran guy who's been productive for you in the past. Okay? There's a good chance of him still making the team. A decent chance, I should say. A good chance. A decent chance. Javon Baker, I'd probably count your days. Yeah. Efton Chisholm, undrafted free agent. A lot of people like him out of Washington, or Eastern Washington, not Washington State. Kyle Williams is out of Washington State. He's out of Eastern Washington, broke all of Cooper Kupp's records at Eastern Washington, which means he definitely broke Kendrick Bourne's records as well. He's a guy who has a lot of that classic white slot receiver look to him that the Josh McDaniels offense loves so much. And it is true. You watch the highlight tapes here, he does look like Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola with the football. Maybe not quite Wes Welker, but he looks a lot like that. Sorry, I got an eyelash going here that's bugging the shit out of me. So now with Josh McDaniels in place, a guy who was not the offensive coordinator when they drafted Ja'lynn Polk or Javon Baker for that matter, a guy who was the OC when they brought in Kendrick Bourne, so he clearly likes Kendrick Bourne. And here's an Efton Chisholm fella who fits exactly what Josh McDaniels loves in this offense for the last 15, 20 years, it all of a sudden gets a little crowded for Ja'lynn Polk. And he likes Mack Hollins, obviously. Mack had a great year with him, had his most productive year when he was playing for Josh McDaniels in Vegas. Again, brought in Kendrick Bourne. Pop Douglas fits the slot role perfectly for him, even more so probably than Efton Chisholm. He drafted Kyle Williams. He was there. Basically the odd men out here are Boutte, Polk, and Javon Baker, and having no connection to Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels was not the OC when they were signed, nor when they were drafted. Those are the three guys. And if you're going to get down to 6 receivers, that means you got to eliminate 3. That could be 3 right there. Again, no guarantee that Kayshon Boutte is on this team, but Ja'lynn Polk has got to step it up. Is what this segment's all about. 12 catches on 33 targets. Not the most targeted guy on the team, but a 30-some-odd% catch rate? 36%? That's not good enough. That's horrid. And it's not like they weren't trying to get him the ball. I mean, they were drawing up plays specifically for Ja'lynn Polk to be the hot route, to be the number one option. And he says he's got the best hands in the league. He's not worried about that. The stats show otherwise. He almost dropped twice as many passes as he caught, or missed passes. The guy has rocks for hands, and he's not an absolute burner. He's not a guy who got a ton of separation at all. He was not a downfield threat at all. He's not a guy who could use his physicality at this level to get open at all. So what is he giving you? What is Ja'lynn Polk giving you? And oh yeah, by the way, that great leader who's putting up the cryptic Instagram stories, who's lying to us, saying he's got the best hands in the league, and bitching and moaning when he's not getting the ball. You got to catch it, brother. You have to catch it. The ball is coming your way a lot, and you're not catching it. So it seems wild for a guy who was almost a first-round pick last year. But Mike Vrabel has cut first and second round picks after 1 year when he was in Tennessee. He's not afraid to do that. He doesn't care what your draft capital was, the year before. If you can't play in this league, he'll find you and he will cut you. And right now, looking at this list, there's a real possibility that Ja'lynn Polk is not on this team, and he's nowhere near the number one receiver on this team. Nowhere near it. Like, if he's staying on this team, he's a depth guy. He's a backup. And that does, in the case of Ja'lynn Polk getting cut, that does assume that Efton Chisholm really wows us in training camp. Because let's be honest. Again, this is an undrafted free agent. And I know he fits the kind of system that Josh McDaniels likes to play, but so does Kyle Williams, whether he's in the slot or out wide. He did a little bit of both at Washington State, and definitely so does Pop Douglas. And it's not like they have kept every slot guy they've ever had. Braxton Berrios had years in the NFL after getting cut by the Patriots. Gunnar Olszewski never did anything for the Patriots. So, it's not like every single white slot receiver they draft is a guy who plays for them for 10 years and wins a couple of Super Bowls. Not the case. So Efton Chisholm, as much as he looks like Danny Amendola and Julian Edelman when he's out there on the field, he could just as well be Braxton Berrios and have a nice little career in the NFL outside of New England. But seeing Kyle Williams and Efton Chisholm coming in here, and of course Stefon Diggs and Mack Hollins too, that's got to scare the shit out of Ja'lynn Polk. It's just got to. And how could it not? How could it not? He didn't prove to have any kind of chemistry with Drake May. Kayshon Boutte did. Boutte gets a little bit more separation. He's not that much better than Ja'lynn Polk, but when you have a chemistry with the young quarterback and you actually produced on Sundays, that's going to help you. That's going to help you. Like his measurables and everything, it's not way better than Ja'lynn Polk, but it does help a lot. Polk is cheap and he's young, but so is everybody else outside of Stefon Diggs. Hollins isn't young, but he's also cheap. Bourne isn't young, but he's also cheap. Nobody else is 0 for 2 on those. except for Stefon Diggs. And he's obviously your number one receiver. So might be time to count your days, Ja'lynn Polk. Might be time to find a new place. Maybe put that house on the market if you got one. Because I think his days in New England could well be numbered. It's not as crazy as a lot of people think it would be. And that is something that we are going to have to track throughout training camp and towards the beginning of the season. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Is it too early to be giving up on Ja'lynn Polk? But then again, what does he bring to this team if he makes the team? Do you believe in him? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Only about 10% of you watching are actually subscribed. We're bringing you nothing but Boston sports content 5 days a week, live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos on the channel, bringing you all the Boston sports news that you need and the opinions you didn't ask for. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air every day.